Today we are here to discuss the different types of power in an organization. Power refers to a person or group's potential to influence another person's or group. Legitimate power, a position power based on a person's holding of a managerial position. Reward powers, a position power that involves the use of rewards to influence and motivate followers. Coercive power, a position power based on fear or desire to avoid punishment.
Expert power, informational, referent, and persuasive. Expert power is based on the individual expertise in a certain area. Informational power is power derived from control over information. Referent power refers to a type of personal power based on the manager's charisma and attractiveness to others, and persuasive power is when we try to persuade someone to do something and make them follow in our lead.
As referred to earlier, legitimate power also provides the formal authority the firm gives a manager to hire new employees, assign work, monitor employees' work, and enforce organizational rules. Now, these set the clear boundaries between a manager and employees so everyone knows the roles they need to follow at the job in particular. Now, when it comes to legitimate power, I think it's very essential for employees to know what their job is and not to overstep their boundaries, because that would interfere with how the job gets done on a day-to-day basis.
Interesting. Well, you kind of bring up a valid point where you're talking about managers and employees, and literally what I take from this is organizing the structure rather. And yeah, I agree with the points that you're saying, which kind of brings me up to your next point, which is
my next point involves the fact that legitimate power is necessary in a business. Now, the thing is, you cannot overstep the legitimate power, because some people, they get behind the notion that this is my position, I'm better than you, and no manager or any person in power should act that way, because it can cause unethical issues in a corporation.
Interesting. If you literally had legitimate power, if you was the top of the structure, how would you reference this power into allocating it to your employees?
I believe delegation would be one of the prime things to deal with this, because a lot of people, they get in these positions and they try to do all the work by themselves. That causes high stress, a lot of mistakes to be made. But I believe delegation in the right context can help people feel more empowered through their jobs and help the growth of the company. To piggyback off of what was said earlier, rewards are one of the most effective ways to increase motivation and high performance employees in the workplace. Now, it's important to understand in the managerial position to know what inspires or motivates your employees. Some employees prefer to have more time off with their families, others prefer Christmas bonuses, and some just want encouragement and to be put in the spotlight at their jobs. It is important for a manager to recognize these things between each employee, because no one employee is exactly the same as the other.
If you were a manager, how would you motivate your employees so they could get the reward?
Honestly, I think I'd set a goal in mind, and every day-to-day operation, we would try to work towards that goal and constantly remind that if we do this, this, and this, we will receive this as a reward. To reiterate the point that coercive power is something that's very delicate in an organization, as the book states and elaborates on the point right here, punishment could be any undesired or negative consequence, including reduction of work hours, undesired shifts, or written or verbal reprimand. Now, to understand coercive power, it's to reiterate the fact that it's based on fear and to avoid punishment. And I think this is very effective in many high-stress or very difficult organizations, because when you have employees that are lacking and not willing to do the job, then in most situations, coercive power is effective, because if they don't do their job, then they're more likely to get left behind and make difficult work for other employees. And a lot of managers cannot have this in high-stress scenarios. But also, then again, if you have employees that are doing their jobs, coercive power can be unnecessary at times.
The fourth topic we're going to talk about, which is expert power. Expert power is when someone who has a lot of information, really, their expertise really shines a light on other people, not just themselves.
It's interesting that you said, because I believe that whenever someone's expert in their fields, that helps motivate other employees to do their job, especially from a managerial point of view, because a lot of people don't respect their managers. So if you were an expert in a situation or a company, how would you go about expressing or conveying your expert knowledge to employees?
Well, if I was the expert of a company, how would I do it? Well, I would let them kind of look at my track record, see what I'm able to do, see my accomplishments and everything, and I would literally try to motivate them so they can help get to my position, because one day I won't be here, and it's going to be up to them to become the experts to shine a light on everyone else. Fifth topic we're going to talk about is information power, which is power derived from control over other information.
And to piggyback off what you're saying, Mr. Brown, it's very important to make sure that information isn't getting out throughout the rampant parts of the company, because if information is getting leaked and the company's being exposed, it can be detrimental to the company's health and affect people's motivation during the job.
All right, the sixth topic we're going to talk about is referent power, and this is a power that actually managers use to like really persuade other people to do like to follow in their lead.
And to go off of what you're saying, I believe that a lot of managers or politicians use certain key words that people want to hear. You know, like increased wages, more time off, you know, expansion opportunities in the company. And I believe that it's a beneficial thing, but I think it depends on who's in that power position to get those things in motion, to motivate employees, and to push their own agendas in certain situations. But if it's for the betterment of the company, then it's fine. But if it's for their own personal gain and it's not helping the company, then it's something that they need to work on and they need to change the person in power in that situation.
Our last topic is persuasive power. Persuasive power is when we try to influence people like to follow behind us. So have you ever really influenced someone or persuaded them to do a certain thing? If so, what was it?
Well, I believe in an organization. I mean, when you're in certain, like if you're with a client for a particular product, you're trying to sell it to them. Of course, you're going to highlight the certain key factors or use key words that would motivate them to agree with what you're saying, and maybe put it in a way that is not just for you. But I believe that when it comes to persuasive power, it's more at an individual level. You know, when you're in positions of power, like let's say that you're in an organization and your position of power outweighs the manager's, and a person begins to trust or follow that employee over that manager, that can affect the chain of command and communication. So I believe that any person's particular corporation, yours in fact your own, you should also be careful of these situations so that you can effectively do your day-to-day operations without these issues.